This video contains massive spoilers, including audio and visual of many of the main story bosses, world bosses, areas, and items. If you're looking to avoid that, please click away from the video. The entirety of this game was spoiled for me, and I would like to avoid doing that to others. So here's your warning going forward. Thanks. I bought Elden Ring when it first released, and I started playing it, and I eventually sat the game down because other games had taken its place. Namely Destiny, since I have been chronically addicted to that game for 8 years now. However, I wish that I never would have done that. I picked the game back up and finished my playthrough, and I'm actually currently on my third New Game Plus. I haven't been this addicted to a game in a long time, and I have no regrets at all. Elden Ring is a game that shines in a culture of gaming where the fad is releasing unpolished, unfinished, and lackluster games for $60. And with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, that price is rising. This game came out in a time of drip-fed content, with battle passes and microtransactions that game studios love to do. I would know. So should you buy Elden Ring a year after launch? Was the hype real? Is the hype still there? Hopefully I can answer that question for you today. Elden Ring starts off basic. Pick a class. This ranges anywhere from the Vagabond, which is essentially a knight, to the Astrologer and the Prophet, both being mage-like starters, and other classes that are suited for your taste. You would then create a monstrosity, you get dumped on by a boss, you wake up, and that's it really. There's a side tutorial, but we really don't care about that. So the game just shoves you straight into the world, and you arrive in the lands between. A world that is torn asunder by the powers at play in the game. Powers that will be revealed to you as you play. There's a man in a white mask that calls you maidenless, and once you're done talking to him, you see a massive knight on a horse. And I promise you it's in your best interest that you don't attack him. This is where your journey starts. In Limgrave, the opening area of the game, and one of my personal favorites. And a lot of people are left with the question of, what do I do now? Well, you explore. FromSoft, the developers of the game, aren't really known for making open worlds. In fact, they never have, like, ever. The Souls series, Sekiro, and Bloodborne were all linear progressing games with set paths to follow. Fans of the studio were curious on how they would handle this endeavor. And to say the least, they nailed it. The world and the atmosphere in this game is honestly in its own category. The map is gigantic, with scenery ranging from the grassy landscape of Limgrave to the snowy mountains of the north. This world is mastercrafted to have items, enemies, and activities scattered throughout it. Sometimes raiding a fort will lead to finding a strong talisman, finding gorgeous landscapes, and even finding things like this sorcerer's tower that requires a puzzle solve. The world is a never-ending story full of secrets, hidden items, bosses, dungeons, weapons, NPCs to speak with, and just straight up wonder. This is the first game since Skyrim, back when I was a kid, that has truly blown me away with the scale of the world. Even so far into the game, I thought I had found most of the things in the game, only to be left dumbfounded that I keep continuing to find things that I never thought was there. For a while, when I first started playing it, I had thought Limgrave was the extent of the world. It alone felt like the size of Skyrim's map. However, I eventually found out that there's two areas next to it that were similar in size. But I then found out that there's over 15 different regions in the game. All of them have similar scope and size, and each with their own quests, their own loot, enemies, and bosses. This game is truly awe-inspiring. And the wonderful thing about all of this is that if you get stuck on a boss, you get to just go explore, go get stronger. The world is at your fingertips alone. And if you're like me and love to explore every inch of this game, then you will have non-stop fun with this game. It's literally a never-ending sandbox that you are at the head of. If things are too hard, then leave. But you will never get bored just walking around this world, even if you're not fighting enemies. It is gorgeous, and it's masterfully crafted. Like past FromSoft games, the story is not in front of your face. We play in an age of gaming where the quests are constantly in your face and telling you where to go and what to do. Elden Ring is honestly a nice break from that. The word on open world games as of late has been the fatigue of the Ubisoft formula. Essentially, the game tells you what to do, where to go, and how to do it all while having these massive maps with pretty much nothing inside of them outside of side activities that are only there to take up time. Elden Ring does not struggle with this. The game doesn't hold your hand with the story. It shoves you into the world and says the player can decide what is best for their playthrough of the game. The story is amazing, and so is the lore. However, the game puts it in your hands to find out what's next. This is where exploring is huge. Finding the next questline randomly is one of the best feelings in this game. The game may not tell you what to do, but the NPCs will. Just by listening to the dialogue, the quests are easy to figure out. Even if you are stuck, there are plenty of guides out there for you to follow. Sometimes you just stumble across random NPCs that will ask you to do things, or you will come across the next step. The game's story and what it's trying to portray is deep and meaningful. The only stipulation is that you pay attention. The story is at your fingers, progressing when you want it to do so. FromSoft made a world dense in lore and activities that they had no need to fill it with other activities that clustered the game, leaving them time to fully develop the characters in the game. Characters you meet early on, like Melina, Reyna, Alexander, and Roderica, the characters that develop with you on your journey. Some later than others, but they still develop alongside with you. Bosses in this game with deep lore implications that are on every single item in the game, unlike other games with pages of lore. The game has a small paragraph on all items in the game about the item itself. And the most important thing to include in this fact is that George R. R. Martin, the man who is responsible for writing one of the most profound book series in the fantasy genre, wrote the lore in the world of this game. The stories, world, history, main characters are all so fleshed out with real reason to be doing what they do. All the main bosses in this game have deep lore, full of stories, and I have spent hours recently watching lore creators tell stories of the game. Without a doubt, if you love the fantasy genre, then the beauty of Elden Ring and its story and the discovery of it is for you. The game can make you feel like a hero, like a villain, like a bystander, or really anything your mind can come up with. It is entirely for you to decide and to discover. Elden Ring is truly beautiful in the ways that you can play this game. Elden Ring is a plethora of weapons, and you will never stop finding them. Sometimes they're on the back of these caravans, sometimes they're in caves or other dungeons, sometimes they just drop from bosses. There's no short supply of them or how to use them. Anything ranging from longswords to axes and hammers to katanas. Each weapon being able to be fully upgraded and scaling with your attributes. Attributes being the skills you possess in the game. With this, any weapon is viable. I have seen people beat the game with only their fists. Anything is possible with this game. Want to be a blood samurai? Then do it. Want to be a holy knight? Do it. A dark sorcerer? Do it. And speaking of sorcery, magic. Magic has been in games past, but like always, with the right spells and upgrades, you can become the glass cannon that you dreamt of. Become that Dark Lord or Holy Prophet you dream of. Spells ranging from lightning, fire, blood, dark magic, healing, holy, and traditional magic. Anything is possible in this game, and the ability to fully become what you want the game to become. This all becomes even more apparent with Ashes of War. Ashes of War enable this game to fully complete a build. Want to be a fiery swordsman? Then do it. My most favorite build in this game is my Blasphemous build. A build you get from a boss that enables you to strike the ground and sends out a volcanic slam, and this also regenerates your health bar. This build is incredibly good and fun. It single-handedly carried me through the final parts of this game. The only limit to this is your imagination. And then something else to increase the potency of the build are talismans. Talismans are items you carry in the game that apply certain buffs and sometimes debuffs. They allow you to fully flesh out your build and help your journey through the lands between. They truly finish your build and allow that power fantasy in your head. The game is truly yours to explore, to find these weapons, items, spells, and more. This game allows for so much customization and build crafting and truly is an RPG at core. It is insane the amount of detail that can be achieved in the build diversity in this game. It is for endless entertainment and grind. All of it relies on you and what you want to be in this game. Something that FromSoft is known for doing is making games that seem impossible. Something that is difficult and make you want to rip your hair out. FromSoft elitists will tell you to just get good, but the wonderful thing about this game is that we have previously discussed this. The game is as easy as you make it, allowing for such a range of ways to take out bosses, quests, and more. FromSoft unlocked what has stopped players from beating their games in years past, the ability to just leave. I had mentioned it in the open world discussion where the game allows you to just leave. Go level, go build craft, go find things that will help you overcome the odds. The game shines as a true RPG, and this takes away from the frustration of it. While the game is still incredibly difficult for normal players, the game makes it to where it doesn't have to be. The difficulty of this game is up for you to determine. You can either one-shot bosses or make every fight an endurance fight. Something else that is new to this game are summons. This allows you to spawn your own NPCs into the game to fight on your side. Struggling with a boss? Spawn a summon. Need time to do something during the fight because the boss is being aggressive? Spawn a summon. While you can't spawn a summon for everything in the game, in most areas you can. This alleviates a lot of the stress from the player if they're just trying to have a chill run. How you tackle this game is up to you. The game will always remain challenging in some aspect for normal and new players, and that's okay. The satisfaction of overcoming a boss is worth the effort of fighting them. Overcoming odds is the name of the game, going from a small person to a legend. That is the goal. Make this game your game. The difficulty shouldn't scare you, but entice you. This is human nature. Struggle is okay at the end of the day. And if you're willing to give that a go, then Elden Ring is for you. The design in this game is some of the best I have ever seen. From boss design, enemy design, weapons, spells, and the world. This game is truly beautiful and it feels like something that is meaningfully made. I won't touch too much on this, since if you do buy it, I want you to explore most of it for yourself, because I haven't included a bunch of the game in this video. But my favorite thing about this game is the loot from bosses, specifically main bosses. This game shines in that aspect, allowing you to truly take power from the boss. Anything from spells and weapons to armor. It is amazing, and something that many RPGs miss out on. But Elden Ring doesn't. You see a boss do something cool? Well, guess what? You can also do it. This game shines again in the allowance it gives its players. It allows you to become what you want. This game leaves no ends loose. You are who you want to be, and you beat the game how you want to beat it. Elden Ring is beautifully crafted for players. Customization is unmatched, letting you create a masterpiece or a horror. Build crafting is unlimited, allowing you to become that Dark Lord. The open world allowing you to take your own pace. You are at the helm of this game. I don't often recommend games to people since I still play Destiny, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. However, I have recommended Elden Ring to almost everyone that I know. I love this game. Its sounds, its music, its weapons, the story, its discovery, the world, and the endless opportunities to have fun. It is truly special. The game itself feels cinematic, and it feels like you are the main hero, even with how many times you may die and die and die. The game is entirely up for you to uncover. Should you buy Elden Ring? My answer is yes. Without a doubt in my mind, it is a yes. There is a reason this game broke records and became FromSoft's most played game ever. It sold over 12 million copies in just the first few weeks for a reason. It is the only game that I've ever played that exceeds the hype that the community applied to it. It is insane how well this game is made, and with DLC being leaked and surely on their horizon to be announced, it is the perfect time to jump on the hype train, even if it is a year later. Thank you.